Len, I ask all my guests, you and I have known each other, I was counting the years. It's been almost 20 years, my friend. Almost 20 years that you've been a mentor to me and a real support for me. So before we go too much further into our topic, I would love for other people to learn a little bit about you. So share a little bit about kind of your journey. What got you doing what you were doing before you retired?
To go all the way back, I think what got me doing what I'm doing was that as a child, people in my family didn't have personal conversations. And I constantly watched dynamics going on where if people had just talked about it, they could have solved it. And I wasn't conscious of that till much later in life. But I think that's actually what got me doing what I'm doing, what I always did. When I was 6, my Aunt Winnie had me for a day. And like aunts do, she asked me what I was going to be when I grew up. And I said, a lawyer. I had no idea what a lawyer was. I had to have an answer. And I stuck with it until I was a senior in college. And they took the pre-law exam. They locked me in a room. They wouldn't let me smoke for 8 hours. So I made a mature decision. I wasn't going to law school. And the next week, my English advisor, I had a major in political science, because I was going to be a lawyer, asked me if I would like to have an internship to get a master's degree in English. And since I had no idea what else I was going to do, I did that. And that's just sort of one thing led to another. So what I've done over my career is I've taught in universities, undergraduate and graduate levels. I was an education director for a bunch of churches in my 20s. And in that role, I did a lot of workshops on communications and conflict management, parenting, and couples retreats. And out of one of those workshops, 6 people asked me if they could see me individually. And 6 months later, I had a full-time counseling practice. And out of that, I began noticing, I had a really creative spell in my mid-30s where I developed 2 developmental paradigms. The first one is that I realized that people develop a core set of beliefs very young in their lives that directs the rest of their life. It's like we get born into a play that's already going on, and we have to figure out what the play is about and how to get our own part of the stage. So out of that, I started asking my clients different questions. And so over the years, I still keep adding to it, I developed this interview process to help people identify what their own personal narrative is and how that has created the direction of their life. During that same period, I was doing a workshop in Seattle with high school principals. It was on conflict management. And during a break, a principal handed me this brief 3-page article by Jim Fowler, who you knew. He was a developmental psychologist and theologian from Emory University. And I realized that a handout that I had just given out on 6 styles of conflict resolution, 6 styles on how people approach conflict, actually had to do with levels of cognitive development. Because what Jim was interested in was how people's understanding of God, of religion, had to do with the complexity of their thinking.